Hey there, friends. Kedger and Top Rock here. I'd like to do a bit of a wrap-up on 2023. Some of the things that we've reflected on since we've gotten back. You know, we weren't able to reach the terminus. That was disappointing. It's been a while now. We've continued to watch the situation up there, and the smoke is still bad. The air quality is still not what we'd like to be, and clearly it's still smoky in places. It's gotten a little better, but I think we made the right call. Here's a few statistics from the trail this year. You know, we did basically 555 trail miles, but to do that we walked 106 miles on the trail, just because going around trees and up and down little stuff, and just each day it seemed like All Trails was recording a little more mileage than what we were seeing in terms of trail miles. In that distance we walked, or climbed I should say, 19.3 miles vertically. That's adding up all of those ups and downs, and just adding up the ups, and it's over 19 miles. And our max day was a 5,000 foot climb. I think that's the one coming out of Cascade Locks, where we just kept going up and up and up. We were on the trail 42 days, and we had 6 zeros. During that time, we burnt over 180,000 calories, which is why my weight's at a nice, comfortable level right now, down about 10 pounds from when I left. Our average speed was 2.2 miles per hour on the trail, with one day max at 2.6, so we're fairly consistent there. Our average daily mileage was just under 15 miles per day, but that includes the Nero, some of those days where we only walked, a mile in or a few miles out, so 15, and our max single day was 21. After all, we were on the leisure PCT hiking cruise this year, 21 miles, but I got to tell you, 21 miles in the Washington Cascades, or even in Oregon, yeah, that felt like a 25 to 30 mile day anywhere else we were at on the trail. Top Rock, you got any gear you particularly liked this trip?
Well, my big change was the pack. And that was rewarding, to be able to stuff the tent into the side pocket. It worked out pretty well.
The packs we were carrying was a Mariposa 60 from Gossamer Gear. I really like that pack. Other gear we liked, there's been a big trend on long distance hiking to switch to shirts that have the hoodies and no pockets, and they're nice and lightweight and they dry well. And to get away from button shirts, I agree getting away from button shirts. I don't need buttons, but the pockets, I use my pockets on I have a Columbia fishing shirt that I wear. I really like those pockets. I use them all the time. I put my gloves in there, my sunglasses, the cameras. So I don't think I'll ever do long distance hikes wearing shirts like I'm wearing right now that are nice and light, but they have no pockets. So.
That being said, he'd lose his spoon a lot in one of the 7 to 20 pockets, and have to spend 5 minutes looking for something that's right below his nose.
Yeah, sometimes I put it in my pocket and I wouldn't find it. Yeah. I also, I've really enjoyed I have a Z-Pack sleeping bag, a quilt that I've used for 5 years now, and still a great gear. As far as the pad, Thermarest Neo Air X-Therm, really comfortable with my bed. And
I still use the larger size.
Yeah,
and I don't want to go back yet.
Top Rock bought the larger one so he could lay on his back and put his elbows down. And
otherwise, I can be right next to me and my elbows be on the dirt.
Yeah,
it's like, this is, even in the mummy position, I'm on the dirt. That's really weird.
So that's worth the weight for you to carry the wider Thermarest.
It enables me to put a knee out to the side. So it's really useful.
Very comfortable sleeping, and sleeping's important when you're on a trail like this. We hope and expect to get about 500 miles out of a pair of shoes on the trail. This pair of Ultra Lone Peak 6s have 550 miles on them right now. As you can see, pretty much they're still holding up pretty well. Little wear on the toe, clip right there, and still got some decent tread all things considered. Starting to wear a little on the sides, on the inside. The only one thing that started to concern me, and this just happened, or I just noticed it for the first time as we were heading down that last pass to get off the PCT, is this piece right here. That's going to be failing soon, but then it's got these supports on each side. I'm thinking might have made another 100 miles out of these, which would have got us to the end of the trail. They have started to show some wear inside. Insole's going. So definitely made the 500 miles. Might have made another 100, but I think I'd be pushing it. Pretty pleased with the Ultras though. We'll keep using these shoes for hiking. One other Top Rock's favorite items is
bug repellent. You must have bug repellent. You can walk 1,000 miles not using it, and when you need it that one day, it will be worth it.
It was pretty trippy. We were very lucky that there were very few mosquitoes in Washington compared to what we experienced in Oregon. But it truly is a timing thing.
It is timing.
If you're there,
judging the weather. Yeah.
If you're there when the snow is just melting and there's fresh ponds around, the mosquitoes can be awful. And I think last year when we were walking north with the melt, so the mosquitoes were with us day after day after day. This time we were a little bit later in Washington. We saw people heading south, and they complained about, I like the one woman, I said, how are the mosquitoes up ahead? And she said, well, you're about to get to Blue Lake about 6 miles from here, and they start there, and from there, it's the rest of the state. It's mosquitoes. That's not what we experienced. We saw a few at Blue Lake, like she said, but they became fewer and fewer, and within a week.
I think we had the last 2-3 weeks we didn't
even
worry about it. You get a bite or two, but
yeah, no bug repellent. And
crazy.
The only time I put on the net was to keep the black flies off.
Yeah,
because that was kind of weird. My last favorite piece of gear was my trekking poles. Man, they saved
both of us
so many times. I'm thinking about writing a song to my trekking poles because I can't tell you how many times they saved me from tripping. The one time I did trip and came down almost face planted, it's because I had my trekking poles behind me and there was a whole lot of bushes and I couldn't get it forward fast enough because they grabbed it on the way down. But almost the other 4,000 times I needed them, they were there for me. So yeah, trekking poles when you're doing a long distance hike with a pack, definitely one of my favorites. Let's talk about some of the things we experimented with this time. We experimented with heavy food coming out of Cascade Locks. What do you think about that, Top Rock?
Tasted great. I was okay with the weight.
The weight was awful.
He didn't like the weight. I was okay with it. It was worth it.
You do realize that's where we did the 5,000-foot vertical climb.
It was still yummy.
It was yummy. Man, that was heavy. So I will not be doing that again ever unless it's a 2-day hike. Overnights and weekends, yeah, it's great. Bring whatever you want. Bring steaks and potatoes, I don't care. But not on these 6-7 day things. That's just nuts.
The real challenge is the bear canister. When you have the bear canister, you can't get anything creative and yummy. There's just no room.
Bear canister for more than 2 days, there's just no room to fill it up. You know. Another experiment I did this year was adding olive oil to certain meals, especially like oatmeal. And that worked out really well, I think. But I got to tell you, I'm not a huge olive oil fan, so I highly recommend the mild, light flavored olive oil, not the robust, heavy stuff, because that just, you're adding so much. Like I'm adding a couple of tablespoons of olive oil to a single pack of oatmeal. That's a lot of flavor change. So light on the envelope, but it worked well because I had energy to get me to lunch.
You did.
I never was feeling out of energy, so that was a good experiment. But I think focusing on carrying denser calorie items will continue to be my future. But also, less is more. If you can carry less of anything, less is more. The other thing I went on and off with this time was the recovery drink, which I've talked about before. It's a mix of protein and a couple types of sugars. I like it. It really helps me feel good, but I get fat on it. Even when I cut it in half, I'm still putting on weight, which is bizarre to me to be on the trail, burn 6,000 calories, and put on weight. Like, that doesn't make sense. That's about it for the food experiments, right?
So,
Everything else was just culinary delights while on the trail. So I do have to say, it was beautiful. And Washington definitely has its challenges with the Cascades, those vertical hillsides that we were going up and down and up and down. It is a steep, rugged mountain. I got to give them credit. They did give us rewards when you got to the top of the peaks almost every time. But man, you worked for it in Washington. Well, I think that's it. I mean, it kind of covers 2023. We hope you enjoyed the videos. Hope you got some value out of them. And, you know, we look forward to seeing you again when we can finish the last 100.
I'll be back.
I'm not sure what
We
year
don't
it'll
know.
be or
Yeah.
what month.
But we're going back at some point.
Got to get it done. We're so
So
darn
close.
close. Anyway, that's it. So until next time, happy trails.
Bye.